Hey everybody, Vince from On Point Protection Skills, or OPS. We're in Cape Town at the moment on a business tour, well, training tour, and this is our day off. And we ended up getting some fresh fish on the side of the road. This is something that you could, it's quite common in Cape Town or by the coast, getting really good fish at a decent price as well. You know what, and it's supporting the local guys. We're in Strand at the moment. It's a beautiful place in Cape Town. The apartment that we're in, sponsored by Creatures, Erica Panika, thank you so much for this. This is unbelievable. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you a really simple recipe that I learned from my mom, and kind of just tailored it along the way to to suit my taste. It's not the biggest kitchen, but it will do for now. It's I'm a simple guy, gonna make you a very simple meal in this awesome kitchen. I don't have all the fancy tools. I'm not going to be the most, let's say, hygienic or follow all the rules. I'm just going to go with it, right? I'm going to make do with what I can to make this really special dish for the team. Actually, you need to have a look at this fish. My God. Look at these fresh boys. So that's our cobble joe. Red Roman's one of my favorite fish. It's just such a juicy fish. Okay, I don't normally like to fry my fish because it comes out really dry. So today I'm going to do a grill in foil, and it's a very simple recipe. Follow this, try it at home, you're going to love it. So first thing I'm going to do is actually rinse this fish off. The guy rinsed it for us at the side of the road, but we just want to make sure we do get our own proper cleansing. And we are going to prep that with a bunch of cool stuff here. So for the fish alone, we've got some of the freshest ingredients here. Freshly packed salt and pepper, freshly packed garlic, and it's going to go with organic lemons. We'll throw an onion in there too. I'm going to show you how to put all that together. The rest of the stuff is going to be just for the sides. The main focus today is the fish. We have 2 tomatoes. So what happened with this tomato, we actually just got 2 turtles on the way, and we've been feeding them with the tomatoes, but we don't waste stuff here, so that's going to go in there. Righty, and then some greens, not for the turtles, but that's going to be for us. First thing we're going to do is prep all the ingredients for the fish. Always got a taste test. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the tomatoes. I like them in little slices, and you'll see why. This knife's not that sharp. I'm going to use a better knife. Oh, look at that. Look how it just glides through those tomatoes. Guys, an important thing to have in this kitchen is get yourself a good knife. Sturdier blade, the better it cuts. Okay, tomatoes are done. Now we're going to go into the onion. Onion, same thing. All I need is strips of onion. Easiest way to clean this onion here, cut the edges off. Right? Oops. Little slit on one side and on the other side. Then you can take the outer layer right off. Comes off super easy. How's that? Done. Okay. So all I'm looking for is little slices. Sorry, you want to know where I got my knife skills from? My mom. I watch my mom work in the kitchen a hell of a lot, and you don't get to watch. If you're in the kitchen, you have to work. So she put a knife in your hands from a very young age, and you have to learn how to cut stuff. And there's no time to waste because she's got so much stuff going on in the back there with different foods going. So if you're cutting, you better be on top of that knife. Righty, what shall we do next? Very simple. Lemons. We'll just cut those into our quarters. Believe it or not, that's pretty much almost done. Now we're going to prep the fish. We've got some amazing olive oil. This is organic olive oil. We stopped at a farm yesterday. Actually, we were hunting for an olive oil farm, and came across a plain Oliven Bosch. There you go. That's the brand over there. We bought a can of it as well. And I didn't know that olive oil had its own bit of pepper. It's got a stink. So if you have it on its own, take a swig of it or a teaspoon of it right at the end. It's got a nice peppery flavor to it. So I'm still lining the bottom of the tin foil just a tad bit. Right? I just don't want the fish actually sticking to the bottom. Mostly because I enjoy the taste and the texture of the skin. Then I'll layer it with a few onions. That also prevents the skin from sticking to the bottom. So if I'm doing a chicken, I'll do something very similar as well, where I'll just layer them all over the place. And then take a few tomatoes, do the exact same thing. Now the tomatoes actually release a lot of juice and keeps that fish moist. I know my Canadian friends, I know you hate that word moist, but hey, this is South Africa, that's what they use here. But let's say, okay, it keeps it really, really juicy. Keep my hands nice and clean and dry. Take the red Roman. I'm going to flip her over. Now some people cut all these fins off. I just rather keep them on. You know what? Because what happens is they all got all those little fine bones in there, and now you've got to try and dig it out with your fingers or your teeth. It's easier to grab a bigger bone than trying to find a bunch of fine bones. Now here's my other little trick. See the inside? Throw a few onions in there. It's going to give it some flavor. Right? Throw some tomato, same thing. Okay, just throw those in there. So it's just really more for flavor. Then the top, put your onions on. Here's another little secret tip. All this super fresh garlic, pre-packed. Add a bunch there, as much as you like, and then fortunately this is all we have right now. We're kind of on a work trip here, so we don't have a ton. Yes, I know I'm not looking professional, but butter would actually be preferable. See that? Throw in the microwave. You don't want to cook the garlic. All I want to do is just melt it. So I know it says 3 minutes. I'm not going for a full 3 minutes. Just maybe 20 seconds or so, just to melt the butter and get the garlic warmed up. It releases flavor into the butter. Yeah, perfect. So you can see it's not bubbling. Now all I do with that, spoon it onto the fish, just like that. You can literally smell it from here. You know what's the other secret? Watch this. Throw some in the belly. Yep, giving a lot of our secrets away here. Fantastic. Not even charging you for it. So, you know what's another secret? The lemon. Squeeze that lemon right over. As this cooks, the flavor of the garlic is it's going to drop down into the fish, into the bottom of the fish, and then as it cooks, it just brings those flavors back up again, right through the whole fish. Believe me, this is going to be insane. Again, it just stops the foil from sticking onto the skin itself and ripping the fish. So hopefully it still comes out beautiful at the end. I've got the oven going on at 180 if I'm not mistaken, 200 just to warm up, but I'll drop it down to 180. I'm going to close this baby up now. As you spoon it onto there, the butter cools down and sticks to the fish, and it sits on there until it warms up, and then as it cooks in the oven, that butter melts and then just oozes and runs down the sides. And as we did with the other one, stick a little bit of this sauce in there, in the belly. So I'm just making a very, very simple salad here. Just a bunch of leafy greens that have come up pre-packed. Cut them into nice bite-sized pieces. Why bite-sized pieces? Because the queen does not like having stuff hang out of her mouth like that. drizzle it on there. Actually, what I like to do is rather just cut them in halves. It's just, to me, it makes it a little more appealing, easier to grab with a fork when you've got a rougher edge. What's next? Cucumber. Let's cut the little tip off. This is all I'm going to use. Now there's a few different things you can do just to make it look a little pretty. Shave a bit off, or what my mom taught me is scrape the cucumber with your fork. See, nice pretty little edged cucumber. I don't know if you could hear earlier, the pot's been calling me. Got that boiling. A little bit of butter in the pot there, so I think it's because we don't want all the pasta to stick. And we'll cook them till they're al dente. And the packaging says for about 10-15 minutes. Yeah, and we'll taste it. So what I did, I took the pasta out. I threw a can of this fresh tomato onion mix, and then also a good gob of the freshly packed garlic. Stir that in. What I want to do is I want to reduce it, get rid of some of the tartness of the tomato, and I don't want to make a gravy. All I want is something to just coat and flavor the pasta. So I'm going to let that reduce for a bit. Feel free to throw salt and pepper in as well. So for those of you who don't know the other little trick, so as you can see, it's nice and thick, right? Got a lot of the juices out of there. It's getting nice and thick, but still a bit tart. So one of the ways you can get rid of that is a little bit of sugar. So I'll put maybe, that's about a half a teaspoon of sugar in there. Another thing you can use, depending where you are, if you're in North America, ketchup. In South Africa, tomato sauce. Tomato sauce, ketchup, same thing. I know a lot of you are calling this tomato sauce or tomato gravy, but you all know what I mean. So now it's nice and thick. Just going to stir that in there. I'll put a few shells in there just to kind of soak up the moisture. Just going to throw the rest of the shells in. The design of these shells really captures some of the flavors inside the shell itself. You also see the ribbing on these shells. The ribbing captures or holds the flavor on it. What I'm going to do now is a little trick to save on time. As you can see, I've used one pot to do everything. I don't want to make a ton of dishes. We've got a ton of stuff to do later on. We're going to be really busy. But I want to cook this pasta just a little bit more, but at the same time, I want to steam some broccoli. So I'll just put the broccoli on top and let it steam just for a little bit. Keep it closed, infuse the broccoli with a little bit of the tomato flavor.
Are you ready?
See the steam coming out? That's how the steam's been cooking. Really. That juice, I would dip my bread in it. A dressing for the salad, very plain simple salad. A little bit of olive oil. Olive oil is always good for you. Some people, it's up to you if you want to mix it beforehand. I just choose to do it a little differently. Let's put some salt in there. Wonder who that guy is. Anyway, a little bit of salt and squeeze some lemon on there. Give it a little bit of flavor, not too much, and everyone can adjust to their own flavor. Okay. There's your steamed broccoli. I'm using my hands because that's my plate. And notice it's five pieces. I did have 4 initially, but in the Chinese culture, 4 is bad luck.